Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be ranking the worst genetics for building muscle. But trust me, these are some that you wouldn't really think about too much and aren't really spoken about a whole lot as well. Now everyone wants to be able to pre-design themselves to have the most aesthetic physique for building muscle. But I think there is a certain level of attraction with imperfection and having a very unique body. Think about it. If everyone just looked the exact same and just had unbelievable genetics, everyone would just look like a clone. So no one is perfect, and that is actually a really good thing. I haven't been blessed with perfect genetics all throughout my entire physique, but I've made peace with having pencil legs and pencil calves everywhere I walk. So we're going to be ranking some of the worst genetics on a tier list, starting at the top with Unfortunate Nerf and going all the way down to Your Fine Brother. But without any further ado, let's get started on the first one. First up we have is having good versus bad muscle shape roundness, so muscle fullness. Now you'd be surprised at how much of a difference it makes just having really good circular round muscles. And what I mean by this is, with this genetic gift, you have the ability to look a lot bigger than you actually weigh or actually are. You don't really need too much muscle to be able to fill out your frame. You're sort of born just to have that aesthetic look, and I'll show you some examples of this as well. This is the category of guys that really get claimed as being unnatural because they just have really well sculptured muscles around their body. You know, those really round delts instead of like flat delts. Really big muscle bellies as well can just make you have that freakish look without actually being enhanced or on anything. And this is something that doesn't really get talked about a lot as well.
Damn, it's like thick. For 3 years, I feel like that takes time to build. Yeah, you would think it's been training for 10 years.
I think it's one of the most underrated genetic gifts that you can have, is just really good muscle bellies and just really good muscle shape. And I'm not talking necessarily about size, I'm just talking about shape. Like, you don't have to build so much muscle to get that round look with everything. Being born with that sort of very jagged and flat look, it's quite unfortunate. I'm gonna put it up at work harder though. Not a lot of people have that gift with just very well shaped, well rounded muscles. Basically, you just gotta build more muscle rather than those people who don't really have much muscle, but it appears like they do. All right, next up we have is not having 3D delt. There's a lot of cases of this, of people, they don't have that crazy side delt that comes around.
You could have big shoulders, huge, amazing delt, but they're not round, they're not 3D, they don't pop. Dylan O'Brien is not small by any means, and he kind of got famous off of having delts that just don't insert very well. His shoulders are good, there's nothing wrong with them, they're just not very round.
I can say actually leaning down, I do actually quite notice that I have a little bit of a 3D look, which I'm really happy about as well. Some people are born and their shoulders are just like, you know, flat edged and doesn't give you that bolder sort of look with your frame. It's rare to come by. Like, a lot of people don't have this. So I'm not talking about being enhanced and having like 3D delts by being enhanced. I'm talking about people who are actually natural, but their delts are just really well shaped. I'm gonna put it up at, it's in between not bad and no one's really noticing. I feel like you can still just grow your shoulders really well. So I'm gonna put it in no one's really noticing if you can grow your shoulders out. It just sort of means that you have to have more shoulder muscle, which is hard, really hard, especially as a natural, because it's so hard to grow your delts really 3D unless you're just genetically gifted and you just have those 3D round delts. All right, next up we have is looking your weight versus looking heavier than you actually are. So I'll show you this example of that genetic anomaly guy. He's a perfect example of someone who looks really heavy versus someone like Lex Little is a good example as well. He looks a lot heavier. He looks like 100 kilos, but when he's really lean, he's able to give off that sort of appeal where he's not actually a heavy dude, but he looks really heavy. So I have had people come up to me at the gym and ask how heavy I was. Recently, I had this powerlifter come up to me and he was like, because I lift some decent weight as well. I was doing 50 kilos on shoulder press for about 6 to 8 reps. And he comes up and he's like, man, how much do you weigh to be able to do that? And I said 79 kilos. He was in disbelief. He couldn't believe that I was 79 kilos. He reckons I looked at least 10 kilos heavier than I was. So it was one of the best compliments I've heard in a while. It was when I was quite lean too. You sort of do just look heavier when you're leaner. And this is a good thing as well. So being born as someone, you sort of just look your size. I'm just talking about your frame. I'm not talking about like your body fat percentage or anything like that. At face value, how you look and if you look like you weigh the actual weight that you are. So I'm going to put it in no one's noticing. It is pretty cool to have people come up to you and say like, dude, you do not look 80 kilos. You look at least 90 kilos. Bit of an ego boost, to be honest. I'm not trying to gas myself up or anything. Also, real quick, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, leave a like. If you enjoy watching these these tier list sort of videos, then make sure to check out some of my other uploads as well. But I appreciate you guys watching. Also, don't mind me filming in the car. I'm like down the road from a pub.
Fire in the pot.
Before gym, bit cracked out on pre is the best time to sort of film these videos. So next up we have is being prone to injury. Some people genuinely are just born with not very strong tendons and not very strong bones, and they just break bones easily. I've never actually injured myself at the gym real bad. I've had little tweaks here and there, but
set fire to your hair, poke a stick at a grizzly bear, eat man.
I think this just comes down to like throughout your early years, how much nutrition and diet went into strengthening your bones and your tendons. I think that's part of it. Maybe another part of it is probably genetics and where your tendons attach to your bones. If they attach in a vulnerable sort of spot and things like that.
You're injury prone. Some people, no matter what they do, they just don't have joints and tendons and ligaments that really are meant for them. Some guys can throw around 405 with ease and have no problem. Obviously, you should always train safe and do the best you can. Yes, your joints and connective tissue can adapt over time, but some people just really aren't built for being that strong.
Like some people can just pull hamstrings so easily, and I know people at the gym, and this one guy is just always dealing with some sort of injury on his body, and it's just unfortunate. Like the thought of them lifting heavy at the gym is just like, dude, I would snap my leg if I did that sort of weight. But I've actually always been pretty gifted with lifting quite heavy. Like I squat, bench really heavy, do pretty heavy leg press, preacher curls really heavy. Like my biceps, I do 65 kilo preacher curl biceps for like 6 to 7 reps. And I've never actually like been close to tweaking or injuring myself or tearing a muscle or anything like that. So I've been pretty fortunate in that aspect. I do have to say, with my genetics, I have 2 family members on both sides who are actually powerlifters, and they represent their country for powerlifting. So I think maybe genetically I've been a little bit gifted with having like strong tendons, strong bones, not being so prone to injury, not gassing myself up, by the way. So being someone who is prone to injury, I'm going to say it is unfortunate. You always get really intimidated to try and lift heavy. You always have that fear of injuring yourself, doing something really bad to your body. So being prone to injury, I'm going to put it up at unfortunate nerf, to be honest. Having that overwhelming feeling of holding yourself back at the gym, of like lifting heavy, it must suck. All right, next up we have is storing fat in the worst places. Now this can be a really good thing if you store fat in good places. I know people that they don't have really shredded arms, but their arms look huge, and it's because they store a little bit of fat in their arms. The worst places to store fat around your midsection, your belly or your lower back. Now, Dr. Mike had a really bad case of going too far with the bulk. He actually had to get surgery to remove the fat in his back, which is unfortunate, but storing fat around those areas, it sucks. It can make you look a higher body fat percentage than you actually are, and you got to be very, very lean to be able to shred that off. It just means you got to be leaner. There's nothing horrible about it. I store a little bit of fat around my stomach as well. When I was like 6 kilos heavier, I started to lose the abs, get that little fold of fat on my lower stomach, but when I leaned up, it went. But yeah, I'm quite lean at the moment. I would say I'm like 9-10% body fat, maybe even a little bit leaner than that. 78, 79 kilos, which is the lightest I've been in many, many years. So I'm going to put storing body fat in bad places. I'm going to put it up in, you sort of just have to work harder. I know people that store fat in their legs. I don't store any fat in my legs, and my legs look like pencils, which is, it sucks. I feel like I store a bit of fat in my chest. That's why I have quite a large chest in comparison to the rest of my body. I think I have a little bit of fat. All right, next up we have is narrow clavicles. Now, I've spoken about this before in previous videos, so I'm not going to go through it too much. Narrow clavicles basically just makes your physique come inwards instead of having that good V taper. I'm going to rank it on not so bad, like that diamond look instead of, you know, that crazy V taper. I feel like it is just a case of you got to work harder, grow your delts a bit more than the average person. I think if you have like an average case of narrow clavicles, it's not so bad for you, man. I'll be honest. There's been scenarios on scenarios of people being able to master this pretty well. I'm going to put it up in not bad. All right, next up we have is having a thick waist. Now, having a thick waist is actually good for wrestling. So some sports, it is a genetic gift. Just in terms of aesthetics, it doesn't look great when you have a really thick waist. It sort of makes you look like you have a T-shaped physique instead of like a V-tape. It's more of an athletic look rather than an aesthetic look. Ronaldo has a little bit of this. But look, he's the best soccer player in the world. So I would choose a blocky waist to be Ronaldo any day of the week. Blocky waist, I'm going to put it up for aesthetics though, which is what we're basing this tier list on. Got to work a little bit harder. To be honest, I'm gonna put it down to not bad on it. It's like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's not really something that people have noticed up until recently. You can still grow out your back and get a V-tape, but just next up we have is having bad skin. So Sam Sulek was someone who really struggled a couple years ago with acne, and it sucked. He had it really bad on his face too, but his back and his chest, you could really see it. But you're able to fix this with things like Accutane. This weird thing that happens to me when I go really hard on legs, so squats or leg press, and it's when I strain my neck so hard, like I'm pressing my legs, and the blood vessels in my neck actually like burst, and I get little red dots around my neck. And I'll show you a video of this as well. It's super weird, but they go away after like a day or two. I think they're bursted blood vessels. I don't know what they are, and I know it's just from me like straining so hard on leg press. It's always leg press. That's not really a skin condition or anything, because it goes away pretty fast. But in terms of having bad skin like acne, you can take medication to make it pretty much disappear, if not disappear. So maybe it's your diet as well. You react to certain foods and things like that. Yeah, it's not the worst thing. I'm going to put it up in your fine, brother, because it's fixable. It's so manageable. All right, next up, I'm going to throw this one in there just for the shits and gigs. Haircut. Now, I'm going to run you through some of all the different types of haircuts I've had. I'm going to rank, though, me having a buzz cut on this tier list. So let me know in the comments if you guys think I suit a buzz cut, but I've had a fair few different haircuts over the years. Let me know which one I suit the most, and let me know about my current haircut. Literally went out and got this today. I don't know what you call this, honestly. Just long at the top and low taper fade.
Oh, that I said that they're a massive company? Like, yeah, is that what, why are you?
You know what else is
Oh my god, what did I say? Oh no.
Nah, kidding. Medium fade, zero fade, skin fade, whatever. But let me know what you guys think of the cut. I'm gonna put this up in I look a bit like an egghead though, like just like the shape of my head. I'm gonna put it in your fine, brother. That's the tier list, guys. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the video. Yeah, always remember, bad genetics don't define you, all right? Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Don't beat yourself up because you have bad genetics. I have bad genetics as well. Learn to live with it. Keep pushing forward to improve myself. That's how you gotta live your life. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.